welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 218. I'm Graham. I'm here with Luke, Richie, and Cody. And we don't have a guest, but I think I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. We're gonna do more. I think we're gonna pull less guests in. I think we're gonna talk more amongst ourselves, or start to.
Yep.
We haven't done a lot of those, and we got a lot going on. Luke's busy. I'm busy. Cody's surprisingly, I don't know if I want to say busy,
I'm not
but
busy
he's
yet.
dreaming. He's out there dreaming.
The wheels are spinning. That's all I'll say.
Yep. Richie's been doing stuff too. I think.
I've been busy. I've been cooking.
I gotta first of all say thank you, Logan, for all the fucking help with the common shit, because everything there is stupid, big, and heavy, and it went swimmingly. Like, we got everything done. There's a minor issue, some the fuel system stuff that I thought I was gonna be able to put in. My truck's a in tank, but it's been retrofitted, so like I have to order a couple of adapters and stuff to put the bigger fuel pump or the bigger feed pump for the injection pump in. But other than that, like, life went pretty well.
Hell yeah, that sounds
That's
like
good.
a pretty. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
We love when projects don't take forever.
No, it took I got over there around, like, I'm gonna say 9:30 or 10. I had to go rescue an AK-74 from the post office. And then we ended up just starting to tear into it, and everything on those trucks is just, it's all the same size bolts. It's either an 8, a 10, 15, 17, or a 19. So
Yeah,
like
it really
everything
is.
comes apart, right? So like the valve cover comes out, that's got its own stupid shit where it has to come out sideways. All the VP lines on that truck were fucking minty fresh, so there was no big deal with them. Injectors, well, they were a little bit of a dick to get out because we'd already pulled the push rods and the rockers off, but still not that bad. Just, there was like number 5 had a little bit of shit on the face of it, and it just kind of looked a little crappy. That stupid lifting lug is my fucking nemesis. Not really, but you have to pull the lifting lug on and off 3 fucking times to get the head off.
Dang.
That sounds terrible.
It's not bad. It's just this stupid, like, piece of bent 1/4-inch steel that sits at the back of the head. And so when you have to go in there, it has to go up over the top of the injection lines, loop under them, and then you have to get 2 bolts to go down into there that hold it on, and those you have to come from the front of the injection line, and so you're trying to not hit the injection line, get them tight enough, and from the factory, of course, they're tighter than shit. It's got the Cummins problem of you gotta pop the fucking plugs out of the cab to get the last 2 cylinders push rods out. Did a quick and dirty check, i.e. started the truck for valve lash, and that was that. So next weekend that I'm off, I'm going back over there. I'm gonna just pop the valve cover off of it and retorque all the studs to make sure everything's happy-go-lucky in there. But the truck is now studded. I completely disconnected the wastegate because I was being lazy. It has a Quadzilla tuner and a set of the new style RV 275 injectors, and it has woken that truck the fuck up.
Awesome.
Oh
The
yeah.
It's
only
not
thing
rowdy, but holy fuck does it move compared to how it used to.
Yeah. The only thing that I would do different than you, I think, is the Quadzilla stuff. I would love to get behind it. I know it's like every Cummins dude like swears by it, but it's like Wi-Fi enabled. It's just stupid. Like the tech is so far behind.
Mine is just a plug-in box. I didn't want anything complicated. I don't want any fucking crazy tune. Like, I didn't want to do the VP tap shit. I wanted it to just be a plug and play. It was on sale for $350. I'm getting slightly better mileage with the tuner in the toe tune. It's not a smoky pig. It lightly power puffs as it's building boost if I'm lugging it. I'm not fucking mad at all. It does exactly what it says on the tin without a problem.
Yeah. I know Edge came out with a new they had their like 5 tune setting like little thing that you get.
Yep.
They came out with a new one. That'd probably be what I get because it just is simple and nice and sort of the same thing, I think.
Yeah, I just grabbed
my
it
opinion.
I wasn't sure if I was going to need the boost fooler, and it was available in that package. The whole package was $410 for everything.
Yeah.
So like to the door, and it's just a simple little switch. It's got 2 preloaded tunes on an off position. I wanted it just for a little bit of extra. I don't know if I'm gonna put that turbo on still because of how quick it spools now. It's it spools maybe 250 RPMs lower than it did in the factory configuration, and I think that towing a trailer, that's gonna be really fucking nice. So I kind of want to give it a trial before I swap the turbo over to that 62 millimeter. I just don't want it to be a laggy pig with a trailer on it, and I did not end up with nearly as much mechanical fuel as I was figuring it was going to be, but I guess that kind of makes sense because they're only 50 horsepower injectors. So I'm still figuring out the turbo. I might do the calibrated performance, their HX journal bearing, just because it's like $750. There's a local guy that can get a fleece for $16.50 with a discount. So like I'm not sure if I want to go with the fleece ball bearing or whatnot, but I'm just really fucking happy with how it drives on the toe tune. On the race, or like the max horsepower tune, it's a smoky pig until it gets the turbo lit, and it kind of hunts really bad, so I don't like running it there.
I just got a brake booster. Come on now. Let her fucking eat, tater sheep.
The problem is, it fucking does this thing where, with how grabby the clutch is, it'll start hunting, and then you're trying to let out of the clutch while it's like trying to like hop in RPMs. And in a parking lot, it is fucking obnoxious to try and deal with that. So I just leave it on the toe tune unless I'm rolling down the road.
Well, that's fair. Does it have an eco? Does it actually have an eco?
I noticed a little bit better fuel mileage, and I haven't been driving it nicely, so...
Yes, it's not bad then. It's a win.
No, it's a win. There was no head gasket left near the number 1 head bolt. The number 1 head bolt was longer than the other head bolts.
Awesome.
That's funny.
It not like a lot longer, but like I'm a tool and die maker, so that thing
long enough, yeah.
It was 10 thousandths or so longer, and I'm like, oh well, that explains that, and that explains why you were so fucking loose. I've tightened you, and you got loose again. Fuck you. You're getting replaced with a stud.
It's torque to yield.
It's yielded. The torque to yield, it's just done. There's a chunk of head gasket material just missing, so that explains why, even after tightening that bolt back down, not only did it walk back out, but also the motherfucker just decided that it was gone. There was no fucking head gasket material left, like the rubberized shit there. So that explains how it lost over a gallon of coolant leaving AOP.
Yeah.
But it's studded and fucking got a Malhi performance gasket in there. I don't want to fucking have to hear from it again.
We hope. Use that. Turn that tuner up to the.
I'm not
fun setting one too many times.
Even then, I don't think I'm gonna hurt it because it's like an HX35, so it's like it barely can get near maxing the stock map fucking signal. So like whatever, the truck thinks it's okay, so we're just gonna let the truck think it's okay and go from there.
Yep.
I'm really excited to tow with it though.
Yeah, it should be fun. I just can't wait for mine to be done.
Speaking of yours, I have some fun parts for you. I have a boost fooler and a boost elbow.
Perfect for my poor little turbo that definitely doesn't need that.
Yeah, just set the boost to like 30 something, 32-ish, and have fun.
75. That's what I just heard.
I'll just blow the factory boots right off. Those poor boots. I don't have the money to replace those, so they're just going back in. I have them off right now, and I was like debating whether I spend the money on new ones, and it's just like, no, we're not doing that. So yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. We're not getting a lot of fun parts. I even like have the door cards and shit apart right now because I was like going through just some random bullshit that have been pissing me off about the doors for like a year. Like all the clips are fucked up. They're like these one-time use clips. Anybody who's ripped a door panel off a Dodge knows. Like
there's a 3D printer file out there for those.
I'm sure there is.
There is.
Yeah, so they're like half of them were broken on one of my back doors, so I pulled that apart. I have a bunch of extra kilomat, so I was like, I'll slap some more of that shit in there. Might as well. Figured out what was wrong with my passenger rear door with the inner latch not working. Somebody glued it together at one point, and that didn't hold. Like there's like a cable that runs the mechanism for the door latch, and it just broke at both ends. I don't know how, but
your luck.
Yeah, so I got to buy a new one of those. I was looking at the speakers. It's got one new, I don't know if I want to say new because it still looks ancient, kicker speaker. The rest of them are factory, like just goofy shit. The doors have been repaired too. Somebody cut the bottom of the door off like 5-6 inches up from the bottom of the door and welded in a new front piece. It's not original. I took a picture of it because I looked in the driver front door and I was like, what the fuck? That's not what that should look like. There's literally a seam. You can see like where they welded the replacement panel onto the original. I was like, so I knew somebody had worked on the rocker. I thought the doors were original. They're not. Well, not the lower half at least, not the lower like fifth. So that was kind of interesting, kind of cool. They did an okay job. It's not like the greatest bodywork job. Now, once I saw that, I looked at the edge and was like, yeah, I see some smears of shit. Like, you could tell. But up until then, I had no clue. I'm starting to put the engine bay back together, which is cool. I got some clamps that I forgot to bring with me yesterday. I still don't know if they fit. I got them off McMaster. So, like the factory style clamps for those stupid intercooler boots, the like intake elbows, they want like $25 a pop for these fucking things on any site I looked at. I went to McMaster and I just measured them before I did that and like pulled the measurements. And the range is a little small, so I don't know if the smaller ones are gonna fit. I think the bigger ones will. What? Sorry, there's a cat screaming at me. So these things were like $10. So significantly cheaper to buy 8 of them, which is what I need. Like I wasn't gonna spend. I can spend $25 for 8. What's that? $200? For things for just a simple hose clamp, essentially. Except it's like, you know, the T-band style thing, T-latch thing. So I thought it was a no-brainer. $60, all the clamps. The boots are all fine. None of them are torn. So I just pulled it all apart, and all the clamps were fucking rotted. So
yeah, I'm lucky. Mine are not in bad shape. I was worried that they were gonna be, but they aren't. So they're staying.
Yeah, I think like maybe 2 of them came off on mine, and it's like, well, at that point, it's not worth keeping any of them. Like, just replace them all. They're all rotten. So I did that. I got the little rubber things for my pedals. I was excited about that. It's like I'm getting the interior like kind of completed because even though I don't have a transmission, like I spent so much time on that goddamn interior. It like feels good to have it like continue to progress. Did mess with some shit with the starter. Everybody says you need a spacer to run the manual transmission on an automatic truck. I don't think you do. I think that's just shitty. I could be wrong, and I won't know until I buy the
You
clutch
gonna find
and the
out.
flywheel. But I think that's just you buying shitty flywheels. I could be. I don't know. Like it just. Why would you need a spacer? Why would they design it like that? It just doesn't make sense. So
I do have
hopefully-
to remind you that we are in fact talking about 2000s Dodge. There is a possibility
people
for
are so
stupidity.
people are there's you can never trust half the shit you read on the forums. It's like retards talking to other retards about what they needed to do to make it work. And the spacer I think is like a South Bend clutch thing or something like that for the dual disc. I don't know. But it's got me like wigged out because I don't know if I have the right adapter plate for the block. I have the right one. It's just in Framingham. If that is the case, I don't see what could possibly be different. I don't know why you would make it different. That doesn't seem like it fits with any of like the whole Chrysler Dodge like situation at that point in time. It just wouldn't make sense for them to make two adapter plates. So I'm hoping that's the case. I put the starter in. That's why I bring that up. I'm working on building the new battery cables. I mean, yeah, starting to get like the nitty gritty shit put together. I have I took the transfer case apart. I think that was on Instagram.
That did not look like it was happy.
Fucked. It was fucked. It's probably original. It's probably got 600,000 miles. Somebody drove it until it was like fucked though. It was probably still working in 2-wheel drive, but no way that fucker was shifting into 4, or especially 4 low. Because it was mangled. The synchros to change from 2 to 4 is like from neutral to 4, I guess, is it was no good. It was no bueno. All that was
Non-existent.
smoked. But I mean, I have the 241 DLD, so that the DHD is the case I pulled apart. I have the DLD. The only difference is that inner input shaft. You can change those, but my dumbass fucked the case on the DLD because it is fused to the transmission, and my dumbass took a steel hammer to the aluminum case because I was trying to beat it with the rubber mallet and then the dead blow and all the other shit, and it wasn't coming off. So I was like, okay, I've got to hit this with something that is actually going to like shock it a little bit. And
Yeah,
I
you really
shocked
gotta
the
hit it.
side of the case and just ripped like an ear. There's like these stupid tabs on the side, and I was using that as a hit point, which was probably not the smartest idea, but yeah, either way, it ripped that off. It still hasn't come off the transmission. I just turned the transmission up. Once that happened, I just put the transmission on the bell housing, dumped the fluid everywhere, landlord be damned, and I just gutted it from the top down. It was like a little workstation. It was actually kind of convenient. So yeah, fortunately, a lot of like the parts that were destroyed on the DHD were in good shape on the DLD. I still need to get I'm like picking my battles here with the thing, but the 4-wheel drive output sprocket needs to get swapped, and the chain needs to get swapped. The chain's fucked. The DHD has a bigger chain than the DLD. It's like a little bit thicker.
Yeah,
so
but they're pretty cheap though, so
like $100 or something. That with the sprocket and everything. Honestly, all the other parts I like managed to salvage. I put the pump is slightly different. Like the splines are different. That's the only difference on the output. I just swapped like the inner piece because the pump was smoked on the DHD, but literally everything in the DLD is pristine. Like it's never been apart, treated so nicely. Great transfer case. And then I look at the ship bag DHD. I'm like, oh, this is what I have to put in my truck. So I put as many of the old parts or good parts in the bad transmission. It just looks nasty at this point. It's just got a lot of like burnt oil, like kind of orangey coating around the whole thing, and I'm scrubbing that down to make it look a little nicer so I don't feel so bad about it. But parts are parts. Hard parts are being replaced, and it'll function like the other one. The bearings are all like they feel okay. I want to say like I'm gonna swap the ones that I can, but transfer cases are like kind of a pain in the ass. Like I don't have all those stupid special bearing pullers for some of those like dead ends, like needle bearing things. Realistically, so if it's fucked, then I'll just get a new transfer case. It's not worth fucking around with every
DHT
bearing.
is not that expensive.
No. I'm sure I could find one in reasonable shape for less, but I'm going to run... It's cheaper for me to run this one for now. I can't keep opening cans of worms that cost me money. So I'm trying to I have to open the transfer case one because I did not know the state of that transfer case. Not being able to get the other one off, that was what I was leaning towards. Not only was the 6-gear synchro on the transmission completely smoked, I don't know how that happened, by the way. It's still kind of like, other than it's just worn out, but the other ones all look okay. Like I went through all the pieces and like inventoried what was definitely bad and what was still good, and it's literally just that one synchro. I don't know what they were doing to 6th gear, but it wasn't pretty. So
they were just slam fucking it.
Yeah, pretty much. So I've got every drivetrain component other than the axles and the motor, right? So 2 drivetrain components, 3 if you include both cases, all strewn about across every workbench and table and surface that I could put stuff on and organize it to an extent.
Is this absolutely necessary, Grembo?
What?
To have all that shit out at once?
Well, that's the biggest thing is like the transmission at this point just needs to go back together. There's nothing that I'm really waiting on for that. It could go in if I have it back together, but it's going to cost me a good chunk of change to do that. And yes, so I'm working out how I'm going to pay for all that and get it out of there. It's like I could, if I throw credit cards at it up front, I can probably make my cash back with a couple jobs that I have to do, and that's probably what I'm going to do, but I don't want to do that because it's like, I don't know. So that's where I'm at with that whole project. Or no, at this point I'm just going to put that transmission back together. I'm not buying a NV4500. That's a sidestep. It's me spending more money than I need to. I know what I need to buy for the 6-speed, and once I get those, I can slap it together. It's not rocket science. But yeah, and then the rest of, like, right now I'm just doing, like I sort of started talking about, the little piddly bullshit, like interior crap. I'm like digging into random stuff that I've got time for because I am waiting to figure out what I'm doing for cash for the transmission parts. The engine bay is an entire mess, so I got to clean that up. I'm working on doing that whole like wiring ground delete on from the alternator to the main fuse panel, essentially, but so to the battery on the driver's side. I believe that's actually what it is. So, working on that. I'm looming some wire, building some new cables. I'm rebuilding all the cables with 2-watt, except for the battery, which I'm doing with 3-watt. So by the end of the day, it'll have good, solid, proper electrical connection, something it's never had in its life from the factory. And yeah, it should be a million times better. Super glued the couple spots in my dash that were broken. Super glue does not work on that plastic. It is
no,
awful.
it doesn't.
It is not. It does not work. I don't know what does. If anybody knows what glue works to hold a fucking Dodge
JB Weld
dash together. No, I'm not using JB Weld.
You asked, I answered.
All right.
Yeah.
You can start a poll. If people think JB Weld is the best way, I have one spot on the inner dash panel that's cracked. It's the light switch. Luke, what year is yours? 2001?
Yeah.
You probably have the same one. Do you have the fog lights or no?
I don't have fog
Okay,
lights.
so the fog lights, the only difference is you have to pull out to turn the fog lights on in the running
Yeah, I
light
have
or
that
headlight
switch.
position. Yeah. So it's like somebody pulled on it too hard too many times, and there was like the outer dash skin panel was not put in correctly. Like one of the fucking pins was putting pressure in that corner. Plus, you're pulling on that fucking knob, so it just cracked all around that. So that thing barely. It actually is in there pretty good. I did get the super glue to kind of hold. It's better than it was, but it still makes me nervous that it's just gonna fucking be flopping in there, and I don't want to have like doing all this work. If I have to pull the dash out because it's fucking cracked just on the light switch, I'm gonna be pissed. So, adhesives that hold shitty Chrysler dashboards together. Go.
Gotcha.
Listeners, or Cody, if Cody wants. If
No, I
Cody knows,
got you.
go do some research. But
I'm not looking at mine. I do have to 3D print up a couple of plugs because the first hole I drilled to mount the tuner was not the ideal one, and it's a little too close to my knee for comfort. So I'm gonna end up putting 2 plugs into the lower dash panel below the like steering wheel, and just I have to replace that whole bezel that goes around. So when I get that new bezel, I'm just gonna end up popping the hole in that, so it's nowhere that it can get hit accidentally. Because the truck drives totally different with it on and off, and yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean that's fun. At least it'll be going back together here at some point. Like it's not like
it's gotta start happening soon. I'm tired of working on it. We're wrapping it up. I got other stuff to do, and it's not put my truck back together. So, yeah, hopefully soon here.
Yeah, I'm planning on pressure washing down a section of the frame, cleaning it up on mine, and painting it before wheeling season, just because there was like one area where the factory undercoat just completely came the fuck off. So that's the only other little side project I have before I go up to Connecticut and New Hampshire this year. I'm probably going to do the brakes on it, but I want to kind of set the truck off to the side at this point as well. I've got to get the trailer fixed. And then I bought wheel bearings and solid slugs for the for the shit box. Which at least that's some progress towards 35 spline shit in the front end.
Yep.
So is it more splines better or less splines better?
Most spline, mo better, but it's a bigger axle shaft in general.
It's both.
You go from a 1.3 to a 1.5 inch axle shaft with more engagement.
You have to look at
the depth of the would the depth of the teeth affect it too?
It's not so much like a depth of the teeth thing, it's like that there's more engagement surface, so it spreads the load out a little easier.
Oh,
and it
okay.
doesn't have as big of a shoulder because it's more of just a straight axle shaft. It doesn't neck down like the 30 splines do.
More surface area, more better.
Yes.
And you can
Yeah.
get
What if
more
it's just
surface area with a fat shaft with tons of splines.
What about a fat shaft with like 3 splines that were like super deep?
You'd have to have. I'm sure there's like a calculation to like tell you when that would be stronger than like an equivalently sized fucking 29 spline fucking or whatever spline 40 spline bullshit fucking shaft. But I'm not that nerd. And
why isn't everything just 72 spline? Super strong in the world. Come on now, boys.
Splines. I don't know.
Because some of us were not smart and built 99 to 04 axles, so we can't just drop 40 spline stuff in there.
I keep seeing people talk about it, and I've talked with a couple people about it, and I had conversations, and share a similar opinion. The 9904 axles, for their minor differences, this could be a hot take, but I'm not the only one who thinks this. is
You better cite your
argu-
sources, dog.
arguably better than an 05 because you don't have to do so much fucking cutting.
That's very fair.
I can agree with
do
that.
that much
That is
work to make an 04 like a workable axle that you can swap into any rig.
And it's all bolt-on shit. If you're already doing the 1480s, if you're going to put super joints in there as it is, you're already putting chromos in there as it is. Like, I get that side of the argument. If I were to do it again, I would have gone 05 plus, but 99 to 04 on a lot of rigs is just fine.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth ripping an axle out of a rig unless it's a Dana 50, which is what I did. And I didn't even have to cut mine. The only reason I ever cut one up is because I had to put one under Sean's rig. I never cut my own 05 up for that at Jeep. It's like it had it on there. I didn't do any of that work with the cast.
Oh yeah,
bullshit.
I forgot about that with yours.
So-
that you bought one already pre-cut from
That was
Mike
perfect.
Craig, right?
No, Mike Pambianco.
I knew it was a Mike. I'm just dumb. My bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a pick your poison. If you've got all the time and you want to go pick out an 05 plus and cut the fuck out of it because you're gonna be there for a while, and you're gonna fucking be like spitting out metal boogers for a while too.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, then go for it. I mean, it is like the best of the best. It's heavy as sin. It's not gonna break as much. Although there's stuff being said about like the stubby front stubby stub shaft. So though they are stubby, they're really fucking small, right? So they break. There's a specific point like they break. And yes, 05 pluses are cheap if you're buying factory shafts, but as soon as you get into like chromos and shit, you're spending upwards
the same money.
Is it the same money?
Well, I'm going to guess that if you're going to get a set of 35 spline shafts, they're probably going to be... fuck it. You know what? I'm just going to Google it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Make it
say.
simple.
It's I don't know. I think it's a tough call. It's definitely a tough call. So
I'm sticking with the 99 to 04 because the whole thing at this point in time is I just want to go fucking get back out there and get back to wheeling as quick as I possibly can.
Yeah, I guess how I'll end that whole spiel about 04 is I was thinking about doing a well, initially the 04 was going in another rig. I don't think it's doing that anymore. I don't know if that project's even on the table. I don't know. I think who would be going to is kind of flip flopping. He's not sure if he wants to keep the Jeep or sell it or whatever. So either way, it's sitting on my rig. I've owned it for
a long time before
several
I
years.
did my 30.
Yeah, I've owned it for a while. And I bought it before I even had the 05 Plus, I think, because that was the plan. And then it didn't happen because I got that smoking deal on that 05 from Mike already cut, and with a truss and everything on it. And yeah, so I'm sort of like sitting on this thing, and I was hoping to put something in the J20, an 05 or something, if I was going to do that kind of axle. If I'm going to do that, it's going to need coilovers. I'm not doing coils in that thing, because I think they look stupid, and it's just, I don't know, a nightmare.
They never mount pretty. Like, I always feel like things that have coils added, stupid. They just look, it
just looks, you can tell it's like a retro fit, and it's not right. So it's just going to get coilovers because it's going to be cool. At some point, this is all down the road. I don't have the cash for my transmission, let alone my fucking J20. But yeah, it'll probably just get the 04. It's not like it's a fucking wheeler either. It'll be fine on 30 splines. If it blows up 30 splines enough times for me to give a shit, then, at that point, it'll probably either get the Cherokee's axle and I'll put the Cherokee on something different. 9's like the cool kids, or I'll worry about that when I get there. We're not there yet.
So on the note of the axle shafts, a complete kit for the 05 Plus is $1,400, and a kit for the 99 to 04 is 880, but one of them comes with the Spicer Blue U-joints, and it's the 1550 versus 1480.
Yeah. How many times have you blown up a 1480, Luke?
Not many.
Yeah.
It's 1430 with the best with the 4340 U-joints, not CTMs, but 4340s. So they're comparable in cost. I'm just putting fucking the 35 spline shit in mine with the Spicer Life U-joints because I can get them locally.
Yep.
And make it simple. You know, it's the 9904 shit's fine. It's just gonna do what it's gotta do. It's a lot of money up front with the replacement of unit bearings and all the other fun shit that's going with it, but that's just wear and tear items that need to get repaired anyway.
Mhm.
And like, I'm buying another set of slugs, but whoop-de-doo, I don't really care. I like the solid stuff, so fuck it. We roll. And hopefully this will be the end of my front axle woes until the shitty ring and pinion decides it's gonna let go, but that's a project for later me to figure out.
I like that.
But you really don't beat on it hard enough, like, cause it would have already blown up. Like, I guess over time, wear and tear, right? But like, if it was just gonna catastrophically blow up, like it would have already by now. You're already on 40-inch stickies. It's not like you're nice to the thing. Like,
that fucking Spartan locker is also starting to make some heinous noises, and I'm like, you got this, little buddy. And when you don't, if the carrier's still good, I'm just gonna put a torque locker in there because it's another $70 and I don't really care anymore. And the torque dudes seem like they're chill as hell and they build a really good product, so I want to try it. You don't have to pull the ring gear to install it, which is a massive fucking W, and it's easier to take apart than a Spartan.
Did you pull the ring gear for the 60 Spartan?
Yep, because I got a thick cut ring gear.
Oh, that explains it. Yep.
Yeah, I've just got the factory carrier. That poor factory carrier's seen some shit.
The factory carrier takes a 538?
Yeah.
That's
just
sick.
a thick cut 538.
Okay, I gotcha. That's cool though. I did not realize that.
Yeah, it was like another $20 to get the thick cut versus buying another carrier. So I just
yeah, fuck it, why not, right?
I was throwing those fucking axles together when I was building it. I wanted to get it on tons because I wanted to just be done with dealing with ripping the track bar apart on the axle and the frame side. And, well, that never happened, but it got on tons real quick.
That's a good point. It did.
So, rumor has it, Cody, that the old noggin's been a jogging.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, I don't know. So obviously the different things that, like, you know, people have seen on Facebook and whatnot, where I was looking for a set of 37s, because I'm dumb and it would be fucking hilarious to find out how often I was breaking shit, right? Well, then, like, I don't know, everybody came into the conversation was like, just buy 39s, blah, 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 blah. Which, by the way, I would have never thought how difficult it would be to find a set of 37-inch reds ever. I was like, because in reality, they're kind of stupid to buy. Like, it's literally the size of a 35 if you have a full-size rig, unless it's on Toyota's 9s or... I mean, even when it's Toyota's 9s, it's not a full-size rig. If you have a full-size rig, there's really no fucking point in buying 37s. So that was kind of the first tricky thing, right? Because I think me and Luke spoke about it. Pardon me, hiccups. We spoke about it really quick about some stuff, and like Graham's, like, the best words that Graham said was, "Hey, if it gives you the bug to get back going, do it. I support it." He didn't even like talk shop with me about it. He was just like, "Do it. If that's what you want, go do it. Like, do it now."
Yep.
And
I said the same shit, did I not?
Yeah. And honestly, it's kind of the truth. If that excites me to get back in the rig, which it does, like something like that, something stupid, definitely excites me. Now, since I'm telling you guys about this, clearly that's not the route I'm going, and we'll find out in maybe a month, what the actual route I went with. But this led to the fun questions of like, well, why don't you go 40s? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you build the tons? Blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, the tons aren't really fucking worth it until I'm running 40s, right? Because, like, I mean, well, not really. Pardon me. 40s isn't really worth it unless I have tons. The tons don't really make sense unless I have 40s. And a cage is kind of more necessary than either of those two things, right? Because I can't run reds. Like, I'm already running blacks. The limitation is then a cage and then larger tires. So the thought was, and also Pepto. Like, look at Pepto. Pepto is a XJ buggy. So yes, it's probably 600 pounds lighter, if I had to guess, than my shitbox. But it's been running
to 1,000.
Yeah. So like that thing's been running. Graham's 37s that he bought way back, like, what was it, 2 years ago now that you bought those 37-inch red, pardon me, the 37-inch Trep stickies, right? So it gave me the bright idea of like, she's been running those not really with any issues. I was just talking to Miguel. He said they just broke their first set of axle shafts like the end of last season, and they had a solid season and a half on them.
Yep.
So it kind of got the mind jogging of like, fuck it, let's get some red 37s, slap it under the shit box, and see how long it'll last.
The thing that works with that idea is the fact reds run small, and then on top of the reds running small, like, you don't have enough gearing really to go massively hurting stuff. So if you're getting decent enough traction, it will do something.
Yeah, that is part of the concern, is that yes, Pepto is running 37-inch Treps, but reds are gonna have a lot more fucking traction.
But they're smaller too. So like,
it's a good point. And they're not as heavy.
They're not as heavy, and if you were to grab something like a set of JK wheels with fucking spacers, slap some fucking Gorilla Tape on the beads and some tire glue on there, they would hold up just fine for most of the trail riding you're going to do. You're already going to be hard limited basically to blacks. You're not going to be able to run some of the reds because it's a full-bodied rig on 35s. Like, you run into just the body is the limiting factor. So, fuck it, run it, is my opinion.
Yep.
I know that's not what you ultimately decided, but...
So now it's still up in the air. Like, if the other idea falls through, which I don't see it falling through just for the simplicity, I think is the best way of putting it, still an option. I mean...
Yeah, or any clapped set of fucking cheap 37 stickies that comes along. They're better than a fucking DOT, and, like, it's already a trailer queen.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It's like, yeah, I do drive it to work every once in a while, but like, also, fuck it, run it down the road. It's only 3 minutes to work. Like, even if it is, unless it's a set of like Graham or Sean level of reds, I don't think I'm running that down the road. But
yeah, but like, if you come across a set of, say, the Pro Crap fucking 37 stickies that came off of a used comp car, like, if they're $500, like, I've seen a couple of sets of that type of tire going for who fucking cares, or a set of clapped out Nitto 37s off of a like K-Specs, whatever ends up popping up. IROCs, if they're stickies, doesn't really matter.
No.
Yeah, if they're sticky, fuck it.
Yeah, but the amount of shit that I've talked about fucking IROCs, I don't think I can do it. Like,
Yeah,
I think it's
cheap
a printable
fucking
thing.
stickies are cheap fucking stickies. It don't matter.
It would just make it all the better, Cody.
That's true. Think of how people would be able to make fun of me even more, and that would be fucking great. Like, oh, you talked all this shit, huh?
Yep.
But didn't what's his name have fucking sticky IROCs and they were ass?
Yeah, but if it's a cheap sticky tire, it's better than a cheap DOT tire or a DOT tire. Like, You know, if you're comparing a sticky IROC or a sticky clapped fucking X race tire, it's still gonna do better than a DOT 35.
See, I agree with that. But then like that leads me to like I'm actually curious on your thoughts of this. This was something that me and Mike Craig talked about was because he was the one that actually sent me the most recent posting for a set of 37s. Was like why he mentioned to me why not running a better set of DOT 37s. Now, I'm curious on your guys' thoughts on that because I wasn't too fond of that idea because it doesn't feel like enough of an upgrade to be worth the money to be buying a set of 17-inch wheels and then buying a whole new set of tires.
Does not register to me. Like,
that was my thought.
My problem with it is, right, so we're just running through the list of shit. Alright, you have half fucking dry rotted, but still relatively new 35s already on the fucking rig.
They're not dry rotted at all.
I'm just talking shit because of how
okay,
old
sorry.
it is. Yeah, so you have a set of fucking 35s that are like ready to roll on fucking rims that you don't care about, on a rig you don't care about. I don't particularly see the point in dropping more money
for
to
barely
not
an
get.
upgrade.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like if
Yeah.
you're slapping some shitty 37 reds or shitty 37 stickies on it, well, you're just condemning it at that point to realize that it doesn't matter anymore. It's never going to actually matter again, and it's just going to have the fuck beat out of it. It'll get caged, and that's that, and like whatever. And then when you go to tons, you can just go straight, skip everything, you know, put air shocks in the front, slap some fucking clapped
No,
out
I don't want air
stickies
shocks
on
in the
it.
front, but yeah, I get you.
I'm just saying, like, it'll have become such a trail rig that it doesn't fucking matter, and even if you're not, like, super enthusiastic about it, a set of cheap-ass 2.5 air shocks in the front just to get tons under it with the proper mounts for coilovers for down the road is still getting it out wheeling.
That is true. That is a good way of looking at it.
I've become a lot less picky about shit after all of the struggles that I've had with trying to get out there and also trying to just have everything be right. And it's like, dude, if the front coilovers are fucking sick. If I bought a set of used front coilovers, though, they would have gone in there the same. If I bought a set of 2.5 air shocks for the rear, it would not have fucking mattered that much because, like, the rig never ended up being the fucking driver that it was supposed to. Now it's just a fucking cut-up piece of shit trail rig. And that's perfectly okay. It's a damn fine fucking cut-up piece of shit trail rig.
It is.
Just my thought is whatever it takes to get your rig to like the point where it's just raisoning itself because you're not going to care. We all know you're not going to care, and I'm not saying that in a mean way. It's
no,
just
that's the dead honest truth.
Fact, right? Like I'm somewhat sentimental about my piece of shit trail rig because you know, high school me always wanted to have a Cummins and a 2-door 5-speed Cherokee, and now I have a Cummins and a 2-door 5-speed Cherokee. It's
you always knew you were gonna be gay? What the fuck?
I mean, I always knew I was gonna be a fuck up. I didn't think that it was homo to want a Cummins, but you know.
Hey, I would never call being gay a fuck up. Come on, Luke. That's so disrespectful. Jesus Christ.
It is 2025. The times are a changing, my boy.
Exactly.
We're allowed to make fun of whatever
Cody
the fuck
can
we
get
want
pegged
nowadays.
whenever he wants.
Yeah, whatever I want, Luke. Who are you to judge?
Do you like to put on the little bow tie beforehand?
Oh, absolutely. I gotta get into character. Otherwise, it just doesn't fit right. You know that does. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Anyways, anyway,
moving on. Duct tape and baling wire. Yeah. So I'm just glad to hear you talking about fucking working on the rig, and like none of this shit matters. It's just an open air fucking playground at this point, and if you just consign it to being a trailer queen, suddenly it becomes a lot simpler to just build the thing.
Well, the
you don't
problem
have
is
to care.
I have to care enough to keep it has to have a license plate mounted to it somehow. The town does not like unregistered vehicles in a driveway
okay,
for
cool.
some stupid reason.
So fucking just take a hole saw, pop some fucking holes in that bitch, in the hatch, and slap in some 4-inch LEDs for turn signals and brake lights.
That's
Stop
actually a great
braking.
call.
Or just mount them like flush in the hole in the body, so that way you can have some functional brake lights. If you break them, it's $10 to replace them. You don't have to care anymore. It counts as a tail light. It's got DOT numbers. If the town doesn't like it, it just has to keep some of the basic trappings of a car.
Oh, it doesn't have to be road legal. It just has to. The plate just has to be able to mount somewhere.
Oh,
That's
sheet
it.
metal screws right through the roof. Who cares?
Yeah, as
Bend
long
the
as
section of the roof down.
as long as Massachusetts doesn't finally enact the whole like, oh, it has to be or it has to be inspected to be registered thing, we're good. Like, we're good. They have been threatening that, and like, it's gonna be an issue when that day comes up because I have a lot of years of paying back for no inspection. But it'll be fine. And if you're from Mass DOT, fuck you, stop listening. But yeah, no, the bug's there. I have some different things that I'd love to play around with and just go and have a good time. Finally, like, finalize the rear. Like, I was actually talking with Grem about this. This was a fun little thing for me and him to shoot the shit on. Is like, like, since I'm going to be quote unquote finishing the rear, not actually finishing it, but like getting it to where the brakes properly work instead of having the adjuster welded in, like, you know, stupid shit like that. We're like, yeah, the brakes worked, but were they great? No. So swapping 2 discs in the rear and like the thought of like, what's the process that goes into that? And Graham can kind of talk about his thoughts onto it because he was a lot more knowledgeable than I was. Graham?
Yeah.
Or not.
Never mind.
Sorry, I was waiting
Sorry.
for the lead in. This you're
Is it a
welding your
weird lead-in?
brakes?
Oh, okay.
Um,
So that was okay. First off, let me quick thing. All right, the day that me and Voldemort, we'll just say that for ease of use, the X were supposed to be loading my Jeep into the trailer to head to Badlands when we finished the 30 front or the 3-link setup and then putting the 44 in. We realized, me and Luke realized, these brakes are just non-existent. And it was because there was the what was it, Luke? Was it that the adjuster, like the actual like reverse notch, like, you know how like when you like you go in reverse, how it actually like expands the rear discs so that way, not discs, the rear drums, so that way they can actually properly apply pressure, like, you know, kind of auto adjust, right?
Yeah,
For some
the
reason,
adjusters were not behaving themselves. I think they were Dana 35 adjusters for a different size drum or some shit like
yeah,
that.
something fucky.
So we ended up getting it to the point where we could get pedal, but because they were a different style of adjuster, we just tack welded them to get it out for that weekend, and it was supposed to have been something that got gone back to.
Yeah, but then I just never wheeled again, so no, I wheeled a few times that season, but after that I didn't really wheel all that much.
No, you
So
wheeled that thing like that for a while.
You wielded a lot this season that you finished the.
Oh, you're right.
Like-
That was one of my last. Yeah, 'cause that
you
would have
got
been
like 2 seasons out of that. 'Cause-
2019?
That was
it'd been
2019.
Yeah, we finished
2020.
in
Oh no,
actually.
2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was. Remember the whole COVID thing happened, and there was a whole
Yeah, and then
fucking
we
mess.
wheeled a fuck ton that year.
Yeah, we did. We should have started the podcast then.
Yeah. We wheeled
But,
a fuck ton that
wah,
year,
wah.
and then the following year.
Yeah, because that's when you moved and all that. But yeah, so that whole setup turned into a thing, and like, I guess I don't need to. I could just fix the drums now that I'm doing the thing that we talked about, and not the 37s. My thought was just, if I have a bigger tire, probably wouldn't have hurt to have a, you know, a better brake setup.
Yeah,
I
if
mean, it
you
wouldn't
just
hurt to do the disc swap either way, Cody.
No,
my
you're
only
absolutely right.
counterpoint on that is if the cost of getting those 2 adjusters replaced is not bad, I would just say whatever the cheapest option to get slightly better brakes out of it is, and leave it at that.
Well, Graham, kind of talk me through what we talked on the phone about. There's no way. Okay, I was gonna say there's no way you leave me hanging again.
That would be the Graham thing to do.
Yeah.
It's all good. Because it was kind of like it was a quick conversation, but I don't know if you've had any more thought into it at all. But this was a
Very
great
insightful.
conversation. It was good. Remember, because then we talked about I guess we could just talk about it from any standpoint. It doesn't really matter. But pretty much Graham mentioned the idea that obviously there was other Jeeps that were running a Dana 44 and that there's brake setups from other.
Whoa. There we go.
Yeah, just a little bit more lead.
Yeah, so the TJs use the same brake setup. Like you could put discs in the back if you wanted to. You could put a TJ disc brake setup in the back of that 44 if you wanted to. It would be a little bit of like fabrication. I think you'd have to move some holes,
Bracketry and shit.
but like it's not. It's like basic shit. You're moving two holes a little lower. You could literally leave the top two right where they need to be. I forget which side it is, bottom or top. One of the sides. They just moved the hole like an inch, or the stud like an inch on the backing plate. That's all that changed. You could do that if you found a TJ 44 rear disc brake setup and the proportioning valve. I wouldn't do it without all the parts, but
Or put an adjustable proportioning valve in it.
That too. But why do that when you can just get a factory proportioned
one.
part? That's my.
I have a gutted proportioning valve in mine, and it's fine.
So it's just 100.
So
50-50 or whatever it ends up being.
50-50.
50-50.
That's how my
I don't
rig's
know.
gonna be rolling out day one. Is it safe? 50-50.
I don't know what. I think mine's just gutted, and I forgot about it. Like it's been perfectly boringly fine for however many years.
Okay, well, probably not, but maybe.
Yeah.
Realistically,
unless you stumble upon the fucking parts to do the disc brake on the 44, it's probably not worth it, honestly.
just buying the proper rear
The
drum
brakes aren't bad.
No, I don't, and I don't mind doing them. It was just at the time it was like 30 minutes, 40 minutes past us having to put it in the trailer so that way we could head up there, and it was like this needs to get done yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah,
And like we're grabbing fucking brake calipers off of the shelf of random supplies that was there to get the set that matched the knuckles because like. And then one of them ended up seizing, so we had to swap that out at Badlands, in Vermont.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of trying to get shit together is how that all went down.
That's what me and Richie ran a red light.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was
breaking the law.
Yeah, it was a red light.
Yeah, it was.
Who the fuck puts the red lights all the way on the side of the road instead of the fucking middle of the intersection, like all of them?
So it's funny because when my mom moved to Massachusetts way back in the day, she said she ran a red light for the exact same reason, was because she was so used to like Connecticut always having them up top, like above the intersection, and then Massachusetts just has random ones like on the side of the road.
Yep.
Like, I thought it was a straight shot. I didn't think I had to stop for anything, but nope. Cody's just in the passenger seat, like, you just ran a red light.
Well, we didn't die, so it's okay.
Didn't get T-boned. That's good. We love not dying.
Imagine that. That would have been a hell of a conversation. Like, hey guys, so
I would have gone to court saying I was innocent.
Yes. They would believe it.
Yeah, they would. I'm a good old boy. I don't lie none.
I miss those fucking trips. Those were good. I'm super excited for this year's trip. I'm not sure when Backyard Built's doing their July event.
Late July.
Oh,
I thought it was
rip.
supposed to be early July this year.
Uh,
I thought we were changing to get back to our normal week, which would have been like the first weekend in July.
well, our normal week ends up being around the 17th of July, give or take.
You sure? I thought maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm forgetful.
I'll be up the week of the, I believe the 10th. I'm gonna
I
double
thought
check
you
on the
said you were
dates.
coming up in June.
The goal was originally June. The problem with June is she's doing summer school, and summer school ends, I think she said it was going to be this year, like midway through the last week of June.
Okay, so I'm looking at it right now. The club's big trip in July is July 18th through July 20th.
Oh, fucking
Okay.
rip.
Now we know.
That we do.
Where are we having it this year?
Glass Mountain.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, I'm excited to go back up there.
Yeah, Glass Mountain's fun when your truck's not blowing up. Womp womp.
But the steering.
Huh?
How about the steering
Why was the steering blowing up?
on your shit box? Wasn't it blown up, or was that afterwards?
I think it was working pretty well that weekend.
It was doing pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, I think it was fine. That weekend wasn't like where it all started falling apart. It was a different week.
No, it was at Field of Forest.
No,
Wasn't
it was
it?
falling apart before then. I think I want to say Webb Wheeler's ball kind of did it in. I'm trying to like get the timeline here. Yeah, Webb Wheeler's ball was before Field and Forest by like a little bit. I don't think they're very far apart, right?
3 weeks.
Yeah, that's not that far apart in the grand scheme of things.
Who's the
Yeah,
other
that's
silver?
what destroyed it. It is still destroyed from that. So,
By the way, Nick LeBlanc said decking screws will put your dash back together. Just a heads up, in case that might help. If you look in the general, I added everyone and asked for suggestions. And the best one so far is Come from Mr. Bickle Scott and deck screws. And then Shinneman said hopes and prayers.
So
I just want to point out the fact too that the first response was JB Weld. Thank you.
I mean, JB Weld does
JB
work.
plastic weld. There's a difference.
Well, why don't you do the fucking? Why don't you get one of those? You know, the little squiggle wire, like the little wire things that you heat up with a lighter. Then you just melt the bottom side back together, and then it looks fine.
That's crazy that you just added everyone. I bet you
Oh, hell
everyone who
yeah.
has this application just got a notification about that because nobody's muted that shit.
No,
That's
they had
crazy.
to have. There's well, so yeah, actually, you're right.
Why?
I mean,
Why else would would Nick have responded?
yeah, he's probably like, why did I just get this notification on my phone? Oh, they're asking about Jeep shit. Cool. Okay.
And I just want to point out, Graham, that when I tell someone to JB Weld something, I of course mean to use the appropriate JB Weld for the application.
Okay.
That's just a given.
Yeah.
I didn't
We are
know
not
they made
animals.
plastic weld. I thought it was just the fucking like gray blob of fucking gum that you're supposed to mix together like Play-Doh.
So I think as far as my trip up, I'll be probably leaving Tuesday the 8th or Wednesday the 9th. I'm going to try and leave Tuesday so that way for Connecticut. I'm going to try and leave Tuesday so that way Wednesday we can go hit Ma Bell with Ryan and them.
Yeah.
Because I
That
know
sounds
he
good.
said he's free on those
It's probably like
days.
after work, right?
No, like during the day.
What the
It's
fuck?
Ryan.
Fucking play hooky.
Bro, I'm gonna have to play hooky enough. I have like a Utah trip and a fucking California trip to this year.
Utah trip.
Well, it's Montana, but you know, same idea.
That's
right?
not
Same
even
state.
close to
No,
the
same
same
state.
state.
It's fine. Mountains
No.
and yeehaw, bro. It's the same thing. What are you talking about? I hope I triggered at least 2 people who listen from those states.
I'm
They probably
triggered
got,
by
they
that.
probably got
I'm
better
not-
Tutti Frutti podcasts to listen to. They got those old Western podcasts.
Yeah, where they talk
Yeehaw,
about
cowboy.
Ram Ranch.
Ram Ranch. 18 naked cowboys in the yard.
What the fuck?
That's Ram Ranch. You don't
That's
know?
Ram, if you don't know what Ram Ranch is, you got to look it up.
If
I'm
I
looking it
remember,
up
I'll
right
put 'em
now.
over. I'll play a little snippet of it.
I don't believe I have never seen anything but the audio. I don't know if that's what it originates from. I think
I
it
have
is
it in
just
my
satire
soundboard if
audio.
you want.
No.
Oh,
No?
good times.
Okay.
But yeah, so like maybe I will play hooky, but we just got it's gonna be in July.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, I'll see what I can make happen.
I'm gonna be up at
Oh.
F&F for the weekend, and I'm probably gonna spend some time afterwards. I'm probably gonna end up turning around and heading home at probably like Wednesday of the following week or Tuesday of the following week. So I'm only gonna be up for one like legit weekend, but everything else I have to do is seeing people after work. So
It's a shame that you can't push it back just another week, because then you'd be able to attend the club meeting or the club trip.
mm,
Yeah, but then he wouldn't be able to do Field and Forest, and that would kind of negate half the reason why he's coming up.
yeah,
I meant push back another week, as in his like departure from Connecticut.
yeah.
I gotcha.
Unfortunate,
Be
but
up here for 2 weeks is what I meant.
I might be able to change it to go a week later. That puts it a little closer to my birthday, but I'm trying to make sure that I don't have it on the 60-hour week. I'd rather have it on the
20?
24-hour week. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the majority of the time being off. I know I'm going to end up blowing like 60 hours of vacation on this, but I'm trying to also have some time off when I get home.
Yeah, to kind of
because-
come back to real life.
Yeah, you know how fucking shitty driving that far ends up fucking being, and then it's like the entire time that I'm going to be up there, it's not going to be a lot of chill, even though the whole purpose is to go and like see a bunch of people and chill with a bunch of people.
Mhm.
It becomes stressful when you're doing a different location every day, even if you're going over and having a beer or two with the guys type of a deal.
Well, fair
So-
enough.
Beers stress Luke out.
It's
Confirmed.
not the beers, it's the driving 2100 mile round trip between going to F&F and Tennessee.
No,
That's the stressful part.
relax. It's not stressful if you don't think about it. Just start driving.
I'm
Yeah, just
bringing
poop your
Morgan.
pants and
It's gonna be stressful, okay?
Yeah, just poop your pants, and then the worst has already happened in the beginning, and now everything is better from there. I don't see what's wrong with this, guys. What are you talking about?
That's how I do it. I just shit my pants before I even start driving, and then it's just it's easy going from there on.
Yeah, exactly.
Drive
That
24 hours
explains
nonstop.
So much.
Hmm.
I mean, what
Have
else
fun.
can go worse from that point on?
Oh, a lot of things.
It can't get much worse than that.
No, there's nothing worse. Unless you're Hayes and you buy a shitbox truck and then you blow 5 tires on the way back like you're, just...
He blew 2 tires.
It was it 2?
And 3
Okay.
dudes.
Hey, he had to get the money for the tires back somehow, okay?
He's good shit. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I just kind of have been like,
What
What
is
is
sure his kids
watching
don't
the-
ever go to college is what he's doing.
What's the plan with the square? Why can't I think of the name? Square body. What's with the dually square body? I mean, it's a cool truck. It'd be cooler if it wasn't fucking destroyed, and it had tires that were not clearly.
You're
dry
asking
rotted.
too many questions that we should just like go call
Ask
him and
him.
tell him to
Yeah.
answer.
Well, at some point.
My thing is like he thought he was Graham who could just drive to Jersey, pick up a fucking 1990s RV and then run it 700 miles back with no issues. First off, that's where he went wrong. Second off,
Mhm.
it has this godforsaken massive wing on the top of it, like it's trying to take flight.
Oh wait, I
with all the
forgot about that.
downforce.
Yeah, it's got
Like,
that
I love the
downforce
wing.
plate.
That's why them tires are popping. Is that thing probably puts on fucking 4,000 pounds of downforce on them tires? That's
Mhm.
the issue. It's crazy to me.
It's just cool. I want to see what he ends up doing with it, because I'm not even sure what engine's in it, but if it's a 6.2, it's going to be a dog, and if it's a big block, better bring your fuel money.
Probably 454. I'm pretty sure those were the 454s.
I know they made some of them with the 6.2s, and the 6.2s were just, what the fuck is that?
What
Is
even
this-
is a 6.2?
It's an old GM Detroit diesel four.
Are you sure it's not a
Oh,
6.5?
you're right.
Is it a 6.2 or a 6.5?
They made both. The 6.5 is the
One had no-
turbocharged, slightly
Yeah.
bored out one that they came
Gotcha.
out with to compete with Cummins because
Gotcha. That was in the GMT 800. No,
That was in the
400s. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Different
the
body
8's
style.
got
So
the
yes,
Duramax.
yes. Yep. Damn.
Speaking of old shitbox trucks, I can't get over how fucking nice mine drives.
Is it really that much of a difference?
Oh my god, dude, it's like fucking night and day. It's fucking if I'm cruising down the say I'm going on 64, right, and I'm doing like 65, I can just roll my toe into it and it'll pull right up to 75 now. It's not like stupid fast because of the shifter, but like if it didn't have to shift, it would be noticeable.
What do you mean the shifter? The shifter is not your problem. Maybe your synchros are fucked.
All right, what I mean by that is I mean that you're building boost, letting it off because you're about to fucking dump the clutch and you have to get it into
You
the
let
next
off?
gear.
Why would you let off? Just keep holding.
Rev match it.
No,
Why
fuck
even
that.
put the
That's what the
clutch in?
clutch is for.
Just slam it in.
Just slam shift that
I'm
pig.
trying to be nice to her. I like her.
You're complaining about not holding boost.
Well, you're going to lose drive pressure either way when you let off and you
Well, do it
remove-
quick. And
Well,
keep
does it
the
have a
throttle
blow-off
on.
valve?
It won't know what
No.
hit it if you're fast enough. It's a 2000s computer. It doesn't think that fast.
Well, if you have a blow-off valve, then that
I don't
would
have a
actually
blow
help.
off valve. I literally took the fucking wastegate barb and replaced that with just a plug and called it a day. There's nothing else done to it. It doesn't bark the turbo yet, so I don't really care.
Well, that's a good plus, at least. That's a good start. Once it starts doing that, then you're going to be losing all the boost every single time you shift. Sounds cool, but no bueno.
Yeah, it's fine though. It doesn't even do that. What I mean though is just the actual time to shift the truck and run it through the pattern in with the weird spacing and like the short RPM window that you have to work with. It's real quick to pull through each gear. You just then have to get it back into the next gear and get boost relit. But
Yeah.
it's noticeably quicker and like it just wants to get down and go. I also probably went from making 245 horsepower or whatever they're rated at factory. I probably added 100 and change with the changes just in fuel. Never mind the boost. So call it maybe another 125, 130 horsepower over factory. So it's yeah, and I've definitely increased
The old
torque
butt
on it.
dyno.
Well, yeah, basically. It's butt dyno kind of combination of the fucking parts that went into it and how much boost and I'd say it's making like moderately tuned common rail power compared to, you know, mid 2000 or early 2000s power. It drives very similar to like a stock 6.7 does.
The only experience I have with a towing with a manual diesel is Colin's truck. Ironically, that thing towed nice. It towed real nice. It was like there was nothing behind it, and I'd never driven that truck. I've only ever driven it once. I was dead ass tired. I probably should not have been driving, especially not a vehicle I've never driven before. I don't know why I was the one who decided that I was driving it out of Massachusetts, but
something about license and points, I think.
No, maybe I know it was like it was technically not like he wasn't supposed to have it.
Colin not having an inspection in Massachusetts and wanting
And they'd been giving him
someone else-
crap. They'd been giving him crap in that area. But he was now it doesn't matter. But at that point in time it did. And I got to drive it all the way through Massachusetts and it was cool. And I still think about it because it was fun to drive. It's a nice truck. But Yeah.
Yeah, my truck's a much milder version of Collins with a slightly grumpier transmission shift. It's
Okay.
cool. I like it a lot.
Huh.
Well, how many miles are on your truck, anyways?
270,000, but
All right. Has
it's
it
got a
been-
reman VP and it's got new injectors. So
What about the
it doesn't
transmission?
feel
Has it
like
ever been gone through?
I got no clue.
I mean, it's probably like
It
about
shifts.
due for synchros.
It doesn't shift like there's a synchro problem. It just shifts like every other NV56 truck or
Yeah. But I mean, there's like, I don't know.
the NV4500.
I'm really curious when I have mine done, and at some point, inevitably, when we are together, to compare the two and see what the deal is. I mean, I'm putting enough into mine to where I'm hoping that it shifts like stock or better than stock. I know, I don't know if I have to do a little more research, but I'm pretty sure carbon fiber synchros, like fiber synchros, are better shifting. That's what I keep reading and hearing when I do the research versus brass. The brass are way more expensive too, which doesn't make sense. No, actually,
it's
no,
more
maybe
machine
not.
time.
Maybe not, because it's the same. It's roughly the same. Roughly the same. You need 7 synchros. They're like $50 a pop. 7 of the brass would be like $350. I think it was $330 for the fiber. So I've heard that because those don't like stretch as much, like they are a little better. I don't know. So
Logan's
yeah, just like
driven the
goofy little
truck.
shit.
Logan's driven the truck and didn't say anything about it shifting like shit. It's just a retardedly grabby clutch. And like I do try and, be slightly nice to the synchros and rev match it and do all that other fun stuff when I'm upshifting or downshifting it, just because I don't really want to be abusive on the transmission for no reason. But it's fucking night and day, and with the fact that it doesn't defuel when you build boost, that is the most noticeable thing about it. Where the 2000 or like any of the VP trucks, right? When you actually hit that factory boost limit, they start cutting fuel, so it'll hold whatever PSI boost that you were building and all of that. This truck now it does not do that. If it's got boost and it's above what the map wants, it's still adding fuel, and it adds whatever the maximum amount that it can flow is. So it just stays very consistent, and it almost like surges forward once you get the boost coming on. Unlike it when it's stock, it doesn't really want to do that. It just kind of feels like a gradual pull.
So you have VTech pretty much.
Almost, not quite VTEC, but like it doesn't cut back or like kind of you don't feel the load, if that makes sense.
Sick. Hey, that
Yeah.
sounds like a win to me.
It's fucking fun, and like when I go to get on it, it'll between third and fourth, it'll kick the truck sideways if you have it fully loaded on the race tune, and that's just rowdy compared to how it was.
Damn. Fuck, was
So
quick, huh?
no, it is not a fast diesel. It's just a moderate, fucking boring ass diesel, but I like it. There's some dudes out there with some seriously fast shit.
No, you just need gearing. Come on, it'll be fast.
No, it's already got 410s, I think. So, Richie, what have you
355s.
been up to? You've been fucking silent this whole episode, you stupid cocksucker.
So I finally got the Comanche actually registered.
There you
Hell
go.
yeah.
I tried driving it in for a Thursday night shift and got like 100 feet from my driveway and launched the front drive shaft to Jesus.
Oh my god.
That it hit the floor so hard because it came off the axle. It hit the floor so fucking hard that I hit the ceiling.
Oh my god.
It scared the shit out of me.
I would imagine that a drive shaft whipping around in there probably didn't sound super pleasant.
No, it really did not. But nothing appears to have been damaged. It looks like I lost a clip for one of my caps. The U-joint was able to slide, dislodged itself from the opposing cap, and then it just popped out. So I ended up just turning around and going back home with it and drove another vehicle into work. And then Friday, I tried driving it into work. I got almost all the way to work. And mind you, I'm talking like 10 minutes from my house. I was less than a mile from work when I thought the Jeep caught on fire.
Oh my god.
It just started billowing smoke out of every fucking orifice in the engine bay. It's coming out from the hood, it's coming through the vents, it's coming out from the fucking fenders. I'm like, well, I'm like less than a mile from work. I'm just going to slam fuck this thing into the work parking lot. At least then, when the fire department's dealing with it, I can go into work. And it ended up being the coolant reservoir blew the cap off and was dumping the boiling coolant right onto the motor.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Renix stuff.
Yeah, I did some Googling, and my coolant system is approximately 3 gallons capacity. I put a little bit more than 2.5 gallons in to drive home.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I'm going right now. It's a toss up between, do I want to spend the $400 to just swap everything over to an open coolant system like the newer body style Cherokees have, or it's like, I think I priced it out to like $270 to just replace everything on the coolant system that I have and like keep
I
it a
would
closed
not
loop
even
system.
for $130 difference. I would not consider keeping the Renix system.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was planning, was to go with the new coolant system.
It's not a metric fuck ton better, but it is noticeably better enough that fuck it, we ball.
But the other thing too is I'm wondering if I have a blown head gasket or something.
I've blown the head gasket on a 4-liter. It's possible that that's what you've got going on, but I would still convert it over to the open anyway, even if the head gasket is gone. Just
Oh
because
yeah,
of how much of a
that was the
fucking-
plan. I wanted I was telling Preston before driving into work that Friday about how I wanted to just go ahead and replace the entire coolant system regardless. That way I don't have any of my traditional coolant system problems.
Yeah. That's part of where the suggestion comes from as well, because it's just like, dude, you have the worst fucking luck with that shit.
I do. I don't know why.
Jeeps hate you.
It's not just Jeeps.
Everything hates you.
My Chevy had coolant problems. My Focus had coolant problems. Both my Dodges had coolant problems.
Which is weird because mine is still running around with a completely blocked off radiator and it's 65 degrees and not overheating.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm apparently doing something very wrong with my life.
Fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, I
And
don't
like,
know why you have so many coolant issues.
I gotta go and pull my cardboard out, but that's just because it's now starting to be like warm enough in the mornings that it doesn't matter anymore. But I at least have an excuse for my shit randomly deciding it wanted to get warm.
Yeah, and it's weird because like I said, I was like 10, it was maybe 15 minutes of the Jeep running.
Well, those systems also suck because you get your expansion tank, which also serves as the feed reservoir, and then that's supposed to be your bleed point, but you have the whole system's closed off, so you have to work everything all the way up there, and then your heater core is basically sitting below it, and if you get a bubble in the heater core, that bubble has to make its way all the way from the heater core out to the block to the front of the engine, and then back up into your fucking coolant reservoir bottle, and it's just a shit fucking design.
Yeah. And it doesn't help the fact that what do you call it? My temp gauge also shit the bed. Because right now it's still sitting at 160 degrees.
Yeah, so you got a bad temp gauge, so that
So like I don't
probably just
know.
means the sensors shit the bed, but I'm not positive, and I'm also not sure if, due to the age of that, what style of gauge is in that cluster. It might end up being easier to.
It's an aftermarket temp gauge that I have.
Okay. So then
So
just get a
the
replacement
aftermarket
aftermarket.
gauge shit the bed.
Well, at least that makes it easier to swap it. You can just go get the same size aftermarket one and replace it.
Oh yeah.
Or
And I also
sensor.
figured out what my issue with swapping the training mount is. I have a fucking automatic transmission mount.
That'd mess
That
things
explains
up.
it.
Because like I've ordered sight on scene all kinds of different manual transmission mounts like that should work, and nope. Every time I get it, I'm like, that's not the right fucking mount. It's not even close. And Crown has an automatic mount that is identical to what I have, so I'm ordering that on Friday.
Nothing. Nobody. Oh, Luke is away. I don't know.
So I don't know anything about that, so I didn't want to comment.
There are
on
differences,
him.
and in that year, is definitely like a weird one for parts. I bet you. Just like sort of the end of Cherokees is the same thing. They changed the mount for like the last 2 years, and you got a goofy transmission, so who knows? Like,
yeah, because like I've even gotten the training mounts that are supposed to be for the BA10s.
Yep.
And the BA10 has 4 bolts that physically attach it to the transmission, and then a really, really chunky fucking piece of rubber with a super spread out bolts to go into the cross member. And even the mounts that are supposed to be for the BA10 are these teeny tiny things with 2 bolts to go into the transmission and fucking these super close together bolts to go through the cross member. I'm like, what in the fuck am I doing wrong?
They're just selling you the wrong one. They're just selling you the manual or the auto one.
No, they're all manual transmission mounts. Like that's what they're sold as. That's what the part number comes back to.
No, you're buying what you think is the right part, but it's the wrong thing, right?
Yeah, I think it has. I think someone at some point in time changed shit on the Jeep to really nonsensical things.
I would say that's probably not far off.
There's just little things that come up every once in a while that like it works. It works just fine, but that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you're gonna run into that. I've been trying to track down some of that truck's previous life, and it appears that at one point in time it was on a different set of axles and 37s and was someone's off-roader, and then it was converted to someone's driver again, and then just it keeps bouncing around.
Honestly, being someone's off-roader back to a driver, back to an off-roader, that would make a lot of fucking sense.
Just thinking about it, they probably had a different fucking cross member or something under there, and they put an automatic one back in there just to get it like back ready to roll again so that it could get sold.
That would make a lot of fucking sense.
Just from what thinking out loud and what I've seen and know about it, because apparently one of the old owners tried to message me to get me to fucking sell it to him, and I was like, all right, what's your trade offer? Because there was, mention of like, hey, I'll take high-end guns, and he offered me something that was worth half, so I told him no. And then we started talking. He sent me over a couple of pictures, told me that I was full of shit about what was done and what wasn't done. And that was why I lost Facebook Marketplace, because he ended up deciding after I took pictures to show him that he was wrong about certain things to start diverting off into the world of insults. Needless to say, I happily obliged, and Facebook decided I may have taken it a little too far.
I don't see you ever taking it too far.
No, I'm a
that
good
can't be a
Christian
you
boy.
problem ever.
But
Don't
on
offer
the
me
flip-
shit half the fucking value and you won't get insulted. It's simple.
Like, I do completely understand that.
On the flip side, though, the Jeep actually drove phenomenal, other than the overheating problem.
I'm excited to see it once that thing's a little bit more shaped up, like get it where, the thing's driving happy, it's AX swapped, you get some long arms under it. It'll be a bitchin' little street manchi.
The yeah, because this year it is getting long arms this year. I don't know if it'll be by the end of this wheeling season or not, but like this year it will be getting the long arms.
Yeah, well, that shit is not cheap and it takes fucking time, and I get
Well,
it. Like,
I'm thinking I'll probably just get the cross member and like all the other shit to do the long arms, and just wait until winter to throw it on, so that way there's no break in actually wheeling the thing.
dude, I fucking get it. I used to have a fuck ton of like desires and plans and shit, but until I have my own workspace to do them in and can just like sit down and go, yep, this is my winter project, I don't really want to go and fucking do them. I'd rather just go fucking wheel it and fix whatever shit I have to fix to keep it in this season.
Well, I'm in the I'm sorry, I'm dying.
You
I'm
die
in
quietly.
the I'm in the process of converting my cover it into a workspace.
Yeah, you were showing me some pictures of that. It looks pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a floor right now.
Floor. What's the? I assume it's dirt right now.
No, it's a pea stone gravel.
Ah,
Yeah,
That's
fuck me if
awful,
I
though.
drop a fucking nut in there, right?
yeah. That's the only downside to that shit.
So right now I have a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood to put under the Jeep. So that way if I have to jack anything up or anything, I at least have something to roll the jack on.
Yep.
But I was talking to my dad last night, I think it was, and we might just clear everything out of the cover it, because of course we have everything else still stored in there.
Mhm.
I just shoehorned the Jeep in, but we might pull everything out this summer and either do it ourselves or hire someone to come in and pour concrete for a
That'd be
floor.
cool. That'd be super sick, actually.
Because it's it's a little fun fact. The cover it is right over where the old cow barn was back when my place was still a farm.
hmm
So there is actual cement under the gravel for the all the cow troughs.
Yeah. Huh. That's weird.
So, I mean, we weren't about to dig that shit up, Graham. So we just buried it in the gravel.
I suppose that makes sense. Less work.
So we were talking about maybe doing a couple of inch layer of concrete on top of everything.
Mhm.
Just, not for a fucking lift or anything, just so that way there's a solid floor that things can roll on.
Yep.
So that would be really awesome if I can actually do that. But it might be a mute point because I might be picking up a shop soon.
Oh shit!
Shop?
There you go. You're just gonna
Picking
put it on
up
your
a
back,
shop?
or yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up, Graham. Put it right on my shoulder, so that way it's with me at all times.
You want
This
to pick
guy's
one up for me
strong.
too?
No,
It'd be nice. Yeah, my rent's killing me.
no, it's out in Bristol, so it's like a half hour
So
from
it's
my house.
sketchy. Got it.
Huh?
So it's sketchy. There's a
No,
chance
it's
of dying.
actually a really nice area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Northeastern, Western Bristol.
it's what fuck? It's on
I have faith.
72. It's on
Oh,
72
okay.
over by
Northern.
not it's 2 miles from Route 6.
Oh, okay. So it's okay. Northwestern. That's cool.
Yeah. It's not the best area, but it's not nearly
Definitely
the worst.
not the worst of Bristol.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Dude, I don't fucking miss that part of Connecticut at all.
Me
Fucking-
neither, Luke.
There's been way too many shenanigans involving that part of Bristol for my life, and I don't fucking need any more.
I've never had a single shenanigan in Bristol, I'll have you know. Not a single.
Oh, I've had more than a few.
Anyways, moving on before this gets clipped and sent to somebody. So the weather lately has been just fantastic, guys. It's
Yeah, it
getting warmer.
actually has been. I don't joke about that. It's been like 50% of the days.
Were you here for Sunday, Monday? Were you around, living, breathing? It was
Yeah.
cold as fuck again. Are you
Yeah, I
kidding
just
me?
choose to ignore those ones and focus on the nice days, not the shitty days.
You know, that is a good way of doing it for sure.
Mhm.
But I think we are actually going to get some nicer weather here, so hopefully get some more fucking wheeling going. Because as much
Okay.
fun as these winter podcasts have been, they're missing
I'd
a
rather
little.
be wheeling.
100%, dude. Need to get some, some things. Maybe get some content going for when we do a monthly subscription-based website. Wink, wink.
Nudge,
that you guys can check out for pretty cheap on the dollar. Maybe
Oh
there'll
my
be
God.
some. Yes.
It's why I'm
Look at
so mad
Cody's
my
feet.
cheek's overheating.
Y'all want to see the bow tie we talked about? Come check out our subscription.
Yeah.
I had actual plans to go wheeling this weekend.
With what? Your shit's blown up.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm mad
beforehand.
it's fucking overheating.
I understand
had
you made the
plans.
plans before it started overheating. I understand.
Yeah.
That. I'm a dumbass. That's my fault. That's my
It was
fault.
like as soon as I fucking had the Jeep registered, I'm like, sweet, I'm going wheeling next weekend.
Damn, that sucks.
It be like that sometimes. I'm the master of it being like that all the time.
But yes, so hopefully here we can have some, some actual wheeling content, some things can get rocking and rolling. We could actually start working on our shit if you ain't got a shop. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoy doing this style of episode where it's just a little bit more laid back. We're probably going to end up doing more, or we're definitely going to end up doing more of these. And to the audience, you're going to see some familiar faces rolling through here quite a bit. They've just been cool people that we like talking with, and you might see a couple of old faces reappearing as well.
Fuck yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yep. Do we want to do it right now?
Do we want to do what?
Crawler Off Road BCFP 10 gets you 10% off at checkout.
Oh, and a small little shout out. Check out Joey Urban for, if you need parts. He's got you.
He does, and he's got some damn good fucking deals, so He'll get you hooked up. I'm buying everything for my front end that has to be bought still through him.
Well,
I'm just fucking special and had to have the solid hubs, or solid slugs, so I ordered solid slugs.
Hell
Life
yeah,
is
man.
good.
Love to see it. Well, thank you guys for listening. We speaking of which, please go check us out on Instagram if you haven't yet. Blue Collar Off Road. Super simple. That's where we post all of our stuff. We have been a little bit lackadaisical. Blame Graham. No, just kidding. No, we've been lackadaisical on actually posting stuff. So I'm gonna hop on there and try to get more shit posted. Just random stories, different things like that. Also, if you are a listener and you saw the story that I posted about a sacket, that sacket is not for sale. I am so sorry to the few people who thought I was saying that it's for sale. That was a very specific run of Runs Prime, Waltz Crawlers, Blue Collar Off Road, and Trail Trash.
Trail Trash
That was
for the last
only
meat
for
feet.
yeah, that was only for hosts and people who are actually part of those groups. I'm sorry. It was just a funny meme about somebody spray painting over Runs Prime because fuck them. Not actually. It's just all jokes.
No.
So yeah, I'm sorry for kind of maybe in the future we could do something, but yeah, sorry. That's on me. That's my fault.
We're trying
want
to
to
be
sack it? Tell us
functional
you want to
adults.
sack it, and we'll take your advice to heart, and then maybe we'll
Yeah.
make one.
Maybe if you're lucky.
We haven't been the best about it. We got a bunch of stickers done, and now we're just trying to figure out how to get them actually out to you guys. But like, hey, we're special ed, so we'll get there eventually. This is Baby's first podcast adult adventure, so we're not very good at doing the adult thing.
Adult adventure, bro. You're really making us OnlyFans sound like it's an OnlyFans. We're already online male entertainers, bro. We don't have to really double down on it.
No, at this point, it's 2025. We are going to triple down on it.
Cody shirtless with a bow tie. What?
Hey, now.
So,
Nobody
on the
wants
note
to see
of,
that, and they definitely don't want to pay to see that. Okay.
on the note of doing stupid fucking dress up shit, I bought 2 of those Vietnam era canteens for the meet and beat this year because we're going back to Nam. So
boy.
we're gonna be serving adult drinks out of Vietnam era canteens. It's gonna be a good time.
Hell yeah. Well, if you want to hear more about that, tune in for weeks to come. And oh, by the way, we haven't asked for this in a little bit, so I might as well throw this in now. If you want, go over to whatever you're listening on and give us 5 stars and a little review. I don't even care if it's bad. Just tell us and review it because somehow that does help. So feel free to go over and do that, please.
Does things.
It does things that we don't know because we are not algorithm masters. But
The algorithm's for babies, but at least we can know how shitty we are.
That is true.
Spotify did send over a congratulations on more people moving to the Spotify platform, so that's
Yeah,
cool.
fuck
That's
Spotify. Nah,
Who's moving to? How does it know?
well,
I just-
Podbean data versus like the majority of the people when Google Podcast dried up moved over to Spotify.
Oh no!
Google
shit.
And you're
Podcast
able
was a
to just
thing?
Google used to have a podcast hosting service that we were on. We're on like everything, dude. I've got us on Amazon. I have us up on, I believe, Audible as well. That should be part of the Amazon stuff. We're up on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, and one other one that the name escapes me, but it's another podcast hosting service. So
Holy shit! November 5th, 2020 is when we posted our first episode. How insane is that? How we
It's
got
wild.
into wheeling?
5 years.
yeah,
That is disgusting. We need to
I
stop.
thought we were at like 3 years. The hell?
No,
Nine
yes,
times
It's
well,
5 years. No
we're at
way.
4 years, but it'll be 5 once we hit November.
No way.
yeah,
That's stupid. I don't like
That's
this.
how the math plays out, Graham.
This is
yeah. The
dumb.
math is math.
Maybe we'll do. What is this? just coming across random, like, we're on Everand, which I think is an Audible, like, extension for podcasts that you can get on, like, a Nook. What
Yep.
the?
A Nook?
Yeah,
I
like
have
the
been busy
a
on the
Nook.
back end making sure that if you want to listen to us on any of the available platforms, it should be there.
damn.
So, like just about everything that you can link a Podbean account to, it's been linked to. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on towards the future, like it's gonna be fun and exciting. We're gonna still probably have some guests and all of that other fun stuff, but you're also probably gonna see some familiar faces like the old Logan.
You already said that.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Old
I was
content.
trailing off to the fucking exit there. But
Exit.
thank you.
Stage left.
Yep.
On
That's
that
the
note.
fucking- that's it. I was gonna say,
We're
you know,
done. Cut it.
What? No, let
Cut
Luke
it.
finish, you fucking
Nope, cut it.
scumbag.
Nope,
Oh
cut
my god. Go ahead. Don't listen to him, Luke. You go. You end when you want to.
value your friends that you can just fuck or just go and get shit done with because they're fucking few and far between, and they're incredibly helpful in life.
I'm
Got
definitely making that sound like you said. Call your friends that you can fuck. So enjoy
Yes.
that, Luke.
I'm sure.
Because that's what you heard. Doesn't mean that's what he said.